Hello, Evelyn Charan here. This is my Tiny Boler 10. This is my life in travels. Well, I'm trying to go back to work. So, 6 or 7 weeks ago, Fort McMurray was flooded downtown. The firefighters woke me up at 4 o'clock to evacuate me. Thank you, firefighters, yet once again of Fort McMurray. They seem to look out for me quite a bit, but they do an excellent job. God bless them. They led me out to safety. I followed their fire truck to get out. Good people, patient people. We're very, very blessed here. We go through so much. Um, anyways, what else? Okay, so we were laid off from our jobs about a week prior to evacuation because of the COVID-19. Now, I've been in touch consistently with my boss every week, to see when we'd be going back to work. Now they're looking like it's going to be January. However, none of us have an income. So yeah, we've gone from bad to worse to worse. I mean, we had fires, cutbacks, labor disputes, then another evacuation. Um, coronavirus, and then evacuation, and like I've lost everything. I live in this tiny little bitty camper. Right now I'm hooked up at the BC Inns in Fort McMurray. I've got electrical and I've got a hose for water. Boil water is into effect here. We're still not out of the cold. A lot of us are struggling up here, and a lot of us got shafted for our jobs. And I'm not a racist person, but they shafted us for our jobs for work permits. Apparently, they work cheaper, and I mean, it's a business decision on the owners or business owners' decision, whatever. But I thought Canadians were supposed to be kept working first, and a lot of Canadians are not working. They've really put a lot of us into a pickle here. I'm a camp worker. I cook in camps. We've lost our jobs yet once again. I mean, it took us everything to get our jobs reinstated to turn around and be laid off again. Uh, Government's only given us $2,000 a month. Rent is $1,000 to $1,500 a month. That doesn't pay our groceries. It doesn't pay water that we have to get, because there's no potable water now with the evacuation. Um, Everything was flooded downtown. I haven't even got my mail yet. I went to where I was supposed to get my mail, but there was nobody there, or I went to the wrong location. I haven't even had my mail for 7 weeks now. Um, we did get some financial assistance because of the floods, but it doesn't pay your bills. It doesn't help us at all whatsoever. The $2,000 a month for the COVID-19 is only good for 4 months, but now we're finding out that we're laid off until January. Like, we're in a lot of trouble. Our union dues are still paid. The union can't keep us working, but we pay their wages. So I just don't understand how they can get away with a lot of the things they're doing. We have pension, private pension, that they will not give us in financial distress, or at least not to me. I've tried 4 different ways to access my private pension. I lost my house. I lost my apartment. I lost all my furniture. I lost my truck. I've lost everything. My credit is screwed now. I have no credit. My credit cards still aren't paid. I have $70,000 in debt that I'm not able to pay. I was lucky to defer some payments for 6 months, but we're not going back to work for 9 months. We got like 2 months of work in all year, and the government has to support us again. Like, the government's decisions are just way out to lunch. We're all going shopping here. I got some pickup work in a restaurant for a couple of days a week. I mean, but it's only 15 hours a week. And the paychecks are like $600 every 2 weeks. That doesn't cover rent. It doesn't cover anything. So, I mean, it gets me out of the camper. I mean, it's been raining for 4 days. I couldn't even leave the camper to sit outside, let alone go do anything, because I can't afford to do anything. Anyways, I've been looking for a lawyer. I've looked for lawyers right across Alberta to get my back pay, my termination pay, that I still have not received. And, I know that we won in court. I know the company owes us the money, and my pay stubs prove that they owe me money. And all of my allegations against these people, while I've got all of the statements and people have come forward on behalf of me, I was being tortured in my workplace because of a couple of really bad chefs. They picked on me to no end. I was treated worse than anybody else ever. Never got lunch breaks. I finally took one lunch break, and what do? They set fire to the kitchen, and then they turn around and blame it on me. I wasn't even there. So, I mean, there's cameras in the kitchen. All they have to do is look at the cameras, and whoever was there, that's who was responsible for those sauces, not me. I wasn't even near it. So yeah, I got accused of all kinds of things that I've never done. I got accused of food safety violations that were not food safety violations. They were actually, I was following it. I have a HACCP license, an international HACCP license. And in my spare time, I study food safety, health and safety. I'm continuously on with government programs. I'm continuously taking Alberta Construction Safety Association. I've got all my safety certificates. I've got 450 qualifications, and they still say that I'm not qualified for my job. Yet the people that they're putting in place of us are not even red seals, let alone having advanced food safer HACCP. They don't even know how to cool rice properly. I work in town here for 3 days a week, and every chef I work with says the same thing. Rice has to be cooled right away. You cannot leave it in a kitchen to cool down to room temperature before you put it in a fridge. Which, by the way, after I was fired from CNRL, that particular company, CNRL installed a blast chiller so that they could cool the rice faster so that their men would not get sick. And that was my fight. And we got those blast chillers, and we got water dispensers so that we could drink water in our workstations, because they also told me I wasn't allowed to drink from a measuring cup, even though I was in a designated work area and that measuring cup went to the pot room. It never went amongst the general public. It was something I did way in the back of the kitchen. And on that note, what I wanted to say about that, if I drank out of a toilet bowl, it would be none of your business. I was dehydrated. At that point, I was so physically, mentally sick that I was urinating green. I was so dehydrated. I was sick on my back for 9 months. I had a nervous breakdown. I've now found out that I've been diagnosed with post traumatic stress injury because of all the abuse that I've gone through. I'm slowly getting better, slowly being able to go back into public and talk to people. But I've been so humiliated, so degraded, and so bullied and picked on. I've got 42,000 hours in camp related kitchens. Everything from fire camps. I've cooked for the RCMP. I've cooked for city police. I have cooked for wildfire safety. I've cooked for the mining camps. I've cooked for seismic. I've cooked for, you name it, I've cooked for them. I've cooked for hundreds of thousands of people and never, ever, ever had the problems in kitchens like I did with this organization. Absolutely amazing. I've switched companies now when I do go back to work, and the people I work with are astronomically nice people to work with. Odd one that gossips, but 90% of them actually work, and they're nice to each other and they educate you. Like, I don't know their routine very well, and I'm not kidding you. For 4 weeks, they actually took the time hands on to teach me their routine rather than sabotage me, which in the other company, they did everything to hurt each other. Instead of working, they'll go around and take pictures of another worker's work that is slacking. And instead of helping that person clean up that area to fix the area, they'll take pictures of the person to use against to the managers, which just baffles me because, number one, if you have time to take pictures of other people's areas, you don't have enough work to do. I can't believe the backstabbing and the childish behavior that I dealt with for 10 years in the workplace. I have never seen gossip like I have in those kitchens. It is absolutely horrible to work with. It's nerve wracking and it's disgusting behavior. People's personal lives are not anybody's business unless they chose to share it with you. And even if they share something with you, you have no business repeating it. When somebody confides in you about something, you have no right to repeat it. That's under it's there's laws against it. When a person confides in you, unless you're a cop and doing an investigation, you have no right to repeat what people say. And you don't use people's personal lives against them. It's horrible. Oh my goodness. Everybody has baggage, everybody has a past, but that doesn't mean that you hurt them over it or you hold it against them or to go after a person's family like they did to me. They threatened my family. Can you believe that? So that's part of the reason I'm not home with my family, because of this labor dispute that I'm involved in. Absolutely horrible people to deal with. They not one union member, not even my vice president. I was living in the parking lot at Walmart, which I'm going to be back at in 2 weeks because I got no money for housing. And I'm not kidding you. These people have not even bothered to buy me a cup of coffee, didn't bother to ask me if I needed help, didn't ask me if I needed a meal. Not a damn thing. My vice president lives here in Fort McMurray. Do you think he's offered a helping hand? Absolutely not. They're just for themselves, yet we pay their wages. They're there to protect the workers, but they don't. I've been in other unions. I used to work for the city of Toronto with the CUPE union. I was in a head-on collision. Damn near went through the windshield. I was a passenger. I was working for Parks and Rec, and I'm not kidding you. With the accident, the CUPE union had everything dealt with within 30 days of the time that I was in that car accident. I got a buyout package. I was taken care of. It was done. This union here, the last company owes me $450,000, not counting wrongful termination, termination pay, back pay, like travel pay is owed to me $35,000. The list goes on and on and on. To hold back a person's monies is federal fraud or workplace theft. You can call it whatever you want. It's a criminal offense and you're not allowed to hold back a person's monies. I have done everything right. I've filed everything. I ended up going to the RCMP because I was so mad at that point and so frustrated that I didn't know who to turn to. But you know what? Even they couldn't do anything about it. But you know what? They listened. They listened to me. They said they didn't blame me. And there's tons of RCMP that listened to me about this. And I met many of them. And the RCMP up here are some of the nicest people I've ever met. I cook for some of these people. And they're not rude. They're pleased. They're thank you. Although Christmas 2 years ago, I could not get white meat to two RCMP officers that came in for supper a little bit late, and we shut down at 9 o'clock. And I want to apologize to you guys. We were at ConocoPhillips. I could not get them white turkey meat. They came in too late. The food was already cold. I couldn't serve them cold food. And I apologize for that. Perhaps next Christmas I'll have white meat for you. Anyways, they're so polite. And then the firefighters are so polite here. And I don't know. This city it deals differently from most cities I've been to. I think because of the evacuations with the fires and the cutbacks and everything that everybody's gone through here. The police and the firefighters are a team with the local residents here. We're all like one. We're not where the cops are fighting against the residents and back and forth and stuff like that. It's not like that in this city. I know a lot of people want to say stupid things about police officers and whatnot. Up here, they're not like that, and I can vouch for that. They're very, very good people. I've never ever. The women are astronomically nice women here. They're very polite. They're very professional. The male cops here are very polite, very professional. They do their jobs. They do what they're hired to do, and they take damn good care of this city. Bylaw officers, they're also really good here. I have, when I'm camping in town or at the roadside, the day camping area with my camper, if a stranger comes into town, they'll ask me if I know that person, if I know them from camp, or if I know who they are, or whatever. Um, they actually look out for who's coming into town. If they're not a resident here, they run a check on them and everything to make sure that the residents are safe. Uh, I don't know. I have nothing bad to say about the organizations here. Um, the organization I'm involved with is who's given me a hard time. uh, the people here are astronomical, and they've helped me as much as they can with what they can, and what they're allowed to do. um, I'm just hoping that soon I get what's mine and I can move on with my life. I love living in Fort McMurray. If I could afford housing here, I would have housing here. I would love to own my own place here. As a matter of fact, right on the riverfront, whether it flooded or not, it is so freaking beautiful to be there. It's so serene, and it is so comfortable, and the people are so nice, and lots of people from the city go there, and we all shoot the breeze. We all have a cup of coffee together. We all go fishing together. None of us even know each other's first names, and that's how much this community is together. And even when the flooding was happening, where they figured the water would go towards the hospital, tons of volunteers volunteered their trucks and went and did sandbags around the hospital so that the hospital wouldn't be flooded, because no hospital, no city, they'll shut down the whole city. So we've dealt with a lot of challenges up here, and people that want to cut down Fort McMurray, well, you have no idea what you're talking about. You don't live here, and the people here are astronomically good people. Of course, you're going to have a jackass in a crowd, but I don't know. I don't bump into those people. Maybe you have in the past, but I never have. And I'm just hoping that my life gets a little bit better, and not just mine, other union workers too. There's a lot of us going through a lot of stuff. It's not just me going through this. There's many people going through this. And this is a really tough community, and we've stood together. And I really wish that my son and his kids can come out here and live out here too, because I'll tell you, this community is just amazing, and the people are so nice to each other, and people don't snitch on each other and call each other's neighbors and stuff. People mind their own business here, and people are kind to each other here, and we look out for each other. And I'm really, really sad that my son has never got to see the mining here and the big machinery here and stuff like that. I would love my son to come out here and see everything. I love you, my son Brian, and his kids and family, and I'm still safe. I'm holding up as best as I can, although I'm running out of money, and I don't know what I'm going to do next. I've tried to put two and two together and get what's mine 100,000 times over, and I still have not got it. And I'm struggling. There's no doubt about it. But I'm going to try and keep my head up high, and I'm looking forward to going back to cooking for whoever I have to cook for, and getting back on my feet, and perhaps maybe getting out of debt. God bless you. Have a nice day, Evelyn Sharon.